presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
The long ball has been and continues to be one of the bright spots for the 2017 Rangers. 3 more home runs last night came off lefty offerings. A rarity of sorts, but proved to be the catalyst in the homestand finale win. Now the Rangers will embark on a 6-game road trip, beginning tonight in Minneapolis, where they'll face another southpaw in search of the same narrative. And welcome to Rangers Baseball, presented by AT&T. Yeah, it's overcast, a little cooler way up north here tonight in Minneapolis, Minnesota, home of the Minnesota Twins. This is the opening game in a 4-game series. A couple of teams looking to get something going. Twins off a long road trip. Rangers heading out of the road after a very long homestand. And we welcome you in for this one tonight. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. As we mentioned, Rangers off that homestand, now hitting the road here in Minneapolis. 2 teams trying to get a little something going here late in the season, and 2 teams who have relied on some power from the second base position recently.
Yeah, very interesting to kind of watch what has happened here in the game. We know that home runs are up. They're getting hit right now at an historic pace, but we're seeing it now out of the second base position, and that is a position that we're not necessarily used to seeing so much power from. Check this out when we take a look at the last 2 seasons, going back, of course, to the start of 2016. Brian Dozier here with the Twins, leading all second basemen with 59 home runs. We just saw Robinson Cano with the Seattle Mariners. He's second at 58, and then it's our guy here with the Texas Rangers, Rougned Odor, now with 57 home runs since the start of last year. A lot of power coming out of that spot. Let's dig in a little bit here on what Odor has done as of late. The power numbers, pitches in, he is crushed. Down, he is crushed as well. 7 home runs since the All-Star break. That is second best in Major League Baseball. We watch Rougned Odor. He doesn't hit very many cheap home runs. When he gets a hold of a baseball, he can drive it as far as anybody, especially when you talk about all those second basemen.
Yeah, so it's been an impressive run for him, an impressive run for this offense, especially with regard to home runs lately. So now, as we get ready for the opener of this series, mentioned the Twins scuffling a little bit. They've lost 13 of their last 19 games, once very much in the race in the Central Division, and they struggle here at home. Well, today, we look at this pitching matchup. A.J. Griffin comes back for the Rangers. Alberto Mejia takes the ball for Minnesota.
Yeah, this will be a good one without a doubt. Mejia, very interesting guy, 24-year-old lefty that will be going tonight for those Minnesota Twins. The home runs were a big issue for him. You see it right there. His first 9 starts, he was letting up 2 home runs a game, and this is a big ballpark here in Minnesota. It does seem like he has corrected that a little bit. Just 0.5 home runs over his last 7 starts. That's per game. Now, of course, a lot of power in the Ranger lineup. We will see tonight whether or not he can actually keep the baseball in the ballpark. And then A.J. Griffin, this is a big story here for the Rangers. He has not pitched since the end of May, of course, missing all that time with the oblique injury. He looked really good in his rehab starts. There are his numbers, 2.70 ERA. The big one with him, the strikeouts and the walks. We know A.J. Griffin is going to fill up the strike zone, but he was so important for the Rangers, stopping a couple of losing streaks earlier in the season and just kind of quietly being a very consistent part of the starting rotation for the Texas Rangers. So it's very nice to see him back. We love AJ, great guy, very happy to have him back in the rotation.
Kind of key for both these guys, as you mentioned, will be keeping the ball in the yard. Guys like Joey Gallo, Miguel Sano, they make a living out of hitting it out of the ballpark. We'll put the 2 of them in our spotlight with Leslie McCaslin when we come back. Rangers Baseball is brought to you by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
get ready for the first of 6 games on the road. And tonight, we will see 2 of baseball's biggest sluggers go head-to-head in the Rangers' Joey Gallo and the Twins' Miguel Sano. Both of these guys had home runs yesterday to help lead their teams to much-needed wins, and that's why they're in our Shiner Lifelong Spotlight. Yesterday afternoon, Sano hit his 25th of the year against the Padres in the 6th inning off Luis Perdomo. Gallo told me he is a really fun hitter to watch. He's, quote, a freak, he said, and a beast in the box. But you talk about a beast, how about Joey Gallo, who homered last night in his 2nd straight game? That one went 450. How about this one going even farther than the night before? 460. He's now hit 28 home runs. He's tied for 7th in the majors and had 6 in his last 9 games. Both guys are among the league's top in homers per at-bat ratio, with Gallo in 1st, Sano in 10th in the majors. Meanwhile, Rangers' A.J. Griffin would love some run support tonight from that guy as he gets his first start since the end of May. Just his 9th start this season. CJ and Dave take it from here. First pitch coming your way next from Minneapolis.
Field, a great environment for baseball, though it feels more like football weather tonight in the opening game of this 3-game series. Time for us to take a look at our Southwest starting lineups. And the Rangers at 51 wins, 56 losses, 18 back of Houston in the West Division. But it's the Shields at the top again. Andrus Mazzara and then Adrian Beltre, who has really been swinging it well. His last 10 games approaching a .400 batting average. Joey Gallo batting 8th. Chirinos doing the catching today. Will round things out at the bottom of the order.
And they'll be going up against Mejia. We talked about it a little bit in the open. Let's dig in a little bit more and take a look at the arsenal for Alberto. I love that name, Mejia. Fastball 93 miles an hour. You see it about 56% of the time. The slider, good pitch for him. 26% of the time, and a .200 batting average against. He'll also work in that changeup. Sits around 83. And let's take a look at the defense that will be behind Mejia tonight here for the Minnesota Twins. Rosario, Buxton, Kepler. Very good defensive outfield that they have here in Minnesota. Sano, Escobar, Dozier, and the former catcher Joe Mauer at first base. And Jason Castro will be behind the plate tonight, catching Mejia.
Okay, so with that, we're set to go. You look at those skies off in the distance, and it's been that way all day today. Drizzling, maybe you could even call it at times close to rain earlier this afternoon, but no real threat for anything tonight. We had the 40-minute rain delay yesterday back home in Arlington. It's just a cool, unusual night here tonight in Minneapolis. I mean, August 3rd, and it's chilly. Well, I saw guys wearing snow caps and jackets, and it is a beautiful day for baseball. We're underway with ball 1 to Delino DeShields, and Mejia off the plate with ball 2.
Yeah, a lot of rain around Major League Baseball all around the league. We saw a lot of delays yesterday. Multiple teams dealing with the weather right now.
This one dumped in for a strike by Mejia, and it's 2-1 to Delino DeShields. Delino had that home run yesterday, a leadoff home run. Ended up 1 for 4 in the game against the Mariners. Mejia yanks that one in, ball 3. 56 degrees at game time today. 56 degrees. What?
I mean, you think about, is that game on Friday, right? What are we talking about? 43 degrees cooler. We had 99 degrees first pitch the other night. I'll take it. I mean, I know we'll probably be complaining here in a few innings, but.
Well, there's ball 4. And so a good start to this one as Delino takes the walk from Mejia. Well, it brings up Elvis Andrus. Be interesting to see how aggressive the Rangers want to be on the bases early on. Do have some great speed at the top of the order tonight against Castro and the Minnesota Twins.
Castro behind the plate has thrown out 8 of 39 potential base stealers. That's just 21%. Below league average. So we'll see if Delino will push it here early on.
No man at first. Elvis Andrus, who takes a strike. 288 average. 15 home runs for Elvis. He's showing bunt. And I was wondering, now Mejia, he's a big guy. 6'3", 210 pounds. And, the reports are that he is not a real agile defender. Would the Rangers maybe try to bunt on him just a little bit today?
You'll see, we saw Sano playing in as well. He also is a big guy. Look at their third baseman and their pitcher. What are you bumping in either one of those guys?
This one bounced foul.
Sano listed 6'4", 260. He's got to be the biggest third baseman in the league, right? At 260?
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah, we should look at it as, the BMI, the body mass index, right? Height to weight ratio type thing, no doubt. He is a big, strong dude. Backs up now with 2 strikes on Andrus. Mejia with that long look at first. And that's off the plate. Alberto Mejia from the Dominican Republic. Recently turned 24 years old. Initially with the San Francisco Giants, they signed him back in 2011, but came over to the Twins in a trade.
Eduardo Nunez, right? Was that trade? Of course, and Nunez has since been traded again to the Boston Red Sox. I think I've been trying to be a starting pitcher in that San Francisco Giants organization with, even though they had their struggles this year, they have 5 starters where if they're healthy, they're not going anywhere. So a good opportunity for Mejia here in Minnesota.
We'll toss over there to first base. DeShields, pretty good chance he'll be taking off here at 3-2. Andrus, you saw that number a moment ago. It's been a long time since he has taken a walk. Let's see. First day of July. Andrus with 23 walks this year against 75 strikeouts. Bounces this one weakly on the ground third base, but it does turn foul. And we will reset. So this is the opening game in a 4-game series up here in Minnesota. Game 108 for the Rangers. Paul Molitor, manager of the Twins, has his team back home 6 games out of first place, trailing the Cleveland Indians after a disappointing road trip for them out to California, where they lost 6 of 8. And they are now 3 games under 500 at 51 and 54. Fielded double play depth. DeShields running, and this one lined up the middle. That's a base hit. DeShields stops at second base. Buxton up with the baseball in center field. A very good defensive center fielder. And so Delino has to hold second, but a base hit for Elvis. First 2 men on here in the first inning.
Yeah, and even though the speedy Delino DeShields was on the move, not much you could do here because Elvis Andrus smoked this ball up the middle. You see a 91-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball. Came like a cutback maybe over the plate there just a little bit, but Buxton playing a little bit shallow as it was. There was no way that Delino could go to third.
So 2 men out there, and Nomar Mazara with the team best 64 RBIs, that .246 batting average. Big open stance at that left side. And he takes ball 1. Interesting, Mazara did not play a couple of those games in the Seattle series, but in there against the left-hander tonight. 9 for his last 24 during a 6-game stretch. And that was coming on the heels of a really tough hitless skid of 26 at-bats. So he's turned it around. And he fouls this one off. It's 1-1.
So even though Nomar Mazara has struggled against lefties, 159 batting average against this year. Anytime for me, you're going to put a guy in the middle of the lineup. Nomar Mazara has hit third pretty consistently for most of this season. That means you don't sit him necessarily against lefties. There are the numbers. 267 against the righties, only 1 home run against the lefties, but they believe him to be a middle of the order type of bat. And if you're going to put a guy in the middle of the order, and he certainly deserves to be there, then you let him hit against lefties. I like that Jeff Bannister continues to put him out there in some spots that could be tough when you're facing some good lefties, especially the ones with the big breaking ball. There's that whole conversation with Michael Conforto a couple of years ago where he was doing great, hitting third, hitting fourth, but then they would sit him against lefties. And you're thinking, if he's a middle of the order bat,
right? Then he's a middle of the order bat.
You got to leave him in there. That is not a platoon spot.
2-1 pitch. And this ball lined to center field. That's a base hit. Buxton closing on it quickly. Here comes DeShields to the plate. The throw offline. Andrus goes for third. He's in there safely. Mazara drives in the game's first run. Rangers lead it early tonight.
Well, this is fantastic all the way around. First of all, Nomar Mazara paying off, getting the start against the lefty, drives that ball to left center field. Beautiful base hit. Great swing by him. No hesitation here by Delino DeShields, and that is so important. Watch him here. Slides in safely, and Elvis Andrus taking third as well. Great job all the way around.
Nice presentation for Adrian Beltre up on the video board here in Minnesota as they take just a quick moment to recognize his accomplishment from the last homestand last Sunday. And he reached the 3,000 hit club. Nice gesture by the Twins. And Beltre goes after the first pitch from Mejia. We'll see the numbers for Adrian. 1 more home run. And then he is in the double-digit club with this Rangers team, a team that has stacked as many double-digit home run hitters as anybody in the American League to this point.
Would give them 9, correct? If Adrian gets there, that would give them 9. 1 off the record of 10 set by the Yankees. I believe it was in 2000.
Means that Delino DeShields is going to have to go on a pretty good tear.
He's got 3, right?
Yep.
Now, I thought Jonathan Lucroy could have been the guy. Right? He had 11 last year in the last couple of months. Well, he is not here anymore. He only had 4 this year. We thought maybe he could be the guy to help the Rangers potentially tie that record. That's going to have to be somebody else.
1-2 the count on Beltre. 378 on base average for Adrian. We mentioned got that big hit on Sunday, number 3,000 in his career, a double down the left field line. He has since added to that total, and he takes strike 3 called. He is the first out of the ball game. So Adrian down looking, but the inning will continue for Mike Napoli.
We'll take a look at this pitch here from Mejia. And earlier in the at bat, we saw Adrian go out of the zone. He saw that fastball there, though, that he believed probably finished in. I'll tell you what, he's got a pretty good case. That was really, really close.
So 1 away. That brings up Napoli. Napoli, the DH tonight. 202 average. With the 22 home runs, and he takes a strike from Alberto Mejia. Mejia 4-4 this year with a 407 earned run average. And this is his 17th start of the season. Andrews taking that walking lead off third base. Oh, a little bluff. Can't get the attention of Mejia, though. 1-1 the count.
It works a little bit better with right-handed pitchers, of course, because they'll stand there looking right at that base runner. Though with the lefties, a little bit tougher sometimes to get their attention, especially since Mejia, of course, sitting here out of the stretch. When you see that happen, maybe it's second and third or third only, or bases loaded, and they go from the windup, yeah, probably a better chance against the lefty.
Sales on Mejia, 2-1 the count.
See what Castro did right there, Jason Castro. After he caught the ball, he kind of just put his fingers out front and trying to get Mejia to get a little bit more extended on that pitch. And he kind of not to say air melted, but he kind of gave it away a little bit. We could, all the way from up here, you could see his arm slowing down a little bit on that changeup. And Jason Castro was saying, hey, man, get out here, full speed, a little bit more extension on that pitch.
Gets that one in there for a strike, and it's 2-2 on Napoli. Napoli was 0 for 4 yesterday with a couple of strikeouts. Just 2 hits in his last 19 at bats. But as anyone who has watched his career, including American League opponents like the Twins, know, he's got big time power. The 2-2 and a swing and a miss. So back-to-back strikeouts for Mejia.
We'll take a look at the off-speed hit pitch here from Mejia, and there is that slider. It's definitely the better of the 2 off-speed pitches that he throws down and into right-handed hitters off the plate, like he did there with 2 strikes to Mike Napoli.
Well, it's going to be up to Rougned Odor. You see the 24 home runs. Talked about that at good length in our open tonight, and for good reason. That's number 1, a big number for a second baseman at this point of the season here on August 3rd. Number 2, he's piled up a lot of those home runs in this last week. Odor swinging a very hot bat. He's got men on the corners, 2 away here in the first inning.
The thing about Mejia is that he does not have necessarily great numbers against left-handed hitters. This season, a .298 batting average against. Only 3 home runs allowed to the lefties. .256 versus righties. 8 home runs. So you see the high batting average. You see the approach that Nomar Mazara took. Line drive up the middle. He's got the slider. That's the breaking ball, but it's not a big one necessarily, in the sense that left-handed hitters can't dig in and get a little bit comfortable. You got a guy with a really good 2-seam fastball that's got good tail, high velocity, and then has the big sweeping breaking ball. That's where it can get a little bit dicey for left-handed hitters against those kind of left-handed pitchers. But Mejia's not really that guy. We're seeing that 4-seam fastball show a little bit of cut. And the slider, it's a good pitch, but it's not that big, slow, nasty breaker.
Odor fouls this one off to make it 1-2.
See that there, and that's pretty surprising. That left-handed hitters are hitting .294 off of his breaking pitch, but yet righties have struggled with it pretty mightily. That's a big surprise. Very interesting for him. And listen, it's good as a starter. You got to be able to get those righties out when you're left-handed. But I think they probably expect that slider to be a little bit more effective against the left-handed hitters.
1-2 pitch, and he pops this one up left side and heading up into the stands. Stays 1-2.
So here's a good example I was talking about with the fastball that runs in on lefties that can be really tough on left-hand hitters. Look where Castro set up. Look how this ball ends up cutting back over the middle of the plate. So it doesn't have that arm side run where you see a lot of lefties will get jammed on pitches, breaking bats, that kind of thing. Rougned Odor took a very, very comfortable 2-strike swing right there against a fastball from Mejia.
Now the lefty will toss over to first base and see Mazara back to the bag. Nomar with the RBI single earlier in the inning. Brought home Delano DeShields from second base. That started the scoring. Andrews stationed over at third at the moment. There's Elvis. He had a base hit earlier in the inning. Odor trying to cash in on those runners. The 1-2. And he swings and misses strike three. So Mejia comes back to strike out the side. Rangers leave a couple on. But they get the first run of the ball game tonight. The Twins just now coming to bat. Keep warm on this Thursday night, opening game of this 4-game series here in Minnesota. We take a look at the Twins lineup today. Brian Dozier up at the top. Been a bit of a power outage for him lately. Kepler, Sano, Joe Mauer, third in Twins history, bumping up on 2,000 hits. Grossman, their designated hitter, has seen a little pullback here in the second half as well. Offensively, Myron Buxton, an exciting center fielder, bats ninth.
And they'll be going up against A.J. Griffin. And let's take a look at that pitch arsenal for A.J. Pretty simple combination for him. 53% fastballs. The curveball, so important to him. Only 67 miles an hour on that curveball. 239 batting average against. Changeup and the cutter as well for A.J.
First pitch swinging. Dozier pops this one up into center field. Gomez comes on. Still coming. And makes the play, one away.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Delano DeShields, you just saw Carlos Gomez and Nomar Mazara in the outfield. Adrian Beltre in his 5 Gold Gloves at third. Elvis Andrews, Odor, Gallo rounding out the infield. And Robinson, Trinos, and a very young-looking A.J. Griffin on the mound in that picture right there. That is fantastic. Now you're going to see what he really looks like, and that's a little bit of a different look. And that's, we see this so often now, right? We talked about it when we saw Danny Espinosa in the last series with the Seattle Mariners. You know, some guys will go full beard in spring training, then it comes off, or vice versa. and their headshot just does not even remotely match what they look like in real life, and that's AJ this year.
He's excited to be back out there tonight, though. And 2 months on the disabled list, and a breaking ball sweeps way inside. 2-1 on Kepler. It's tough when those guys go out, 2 months. It's been a long time. May 28th, the last time we saw AJ pitch. And his personality, one that stands out when you're down in the clubhouse. Just a real easygoing, fun guy to chat with. So it's a pleasure for all of us to have AJ back.
No doubt. You think about, for you and I, we love talking to him, love having him around. Just think of that effect that it has on the clubhouse, especially, after trading deadline. Maybe guys were down a little bit, not the greatest of homestands. So it was a 3-6 on the homestand. And so you're right, that personality, very infectious, very important to have. Priority number one, of course, is delivering on the mound for AJ, but there are some ancillary benefits to having him on your team, in your dugout, and in your clubhouse.
Way up and away on Kepler, and it's a full count. So Griffin making just his 9th start this year, 4-2 record, a .577 earned run average. Count stays full on Kepler. Kepler had a pretty good month of July, .294 average. 9 doubles, a triple, a homer in the month. And he swings at this one and lifts it high in the air left field. DeShields, though, back pedals maybe a couple of steps and is there. Puts Kepler away. 2 out. And time now for our TXU Energy Power player to watch. And that is Miguel Sano. How about these numbers? Don't throw him a fastball. That's all.
You can throw it. Just be very, very careful as far as where you actually put it. That's .745 slugging percentage against the heater. Not surprising. This guy's got some legitimate pop. You're going to be very careful with where you go with him with that fastball.
Griffin starts him with the curveball. And AJ likes to throw that bender. He's got a real good one.
He's not afraid to throw the fastball either. It's not high velocity. See a change up there, but AJ knows what he's doing, knows how he likes to use that fastball. He likes to elevate it as well. He's able to elevate a fastball, 87, 88. Can it be dangerous? But what he's doing is he is setting up the breaking ball, and he wants to change eye levels, and so he's not afraid to run that heater up at all against even the best of hitters. How about that change up and in? Called first strike. Probably not intentional to go up there. You don't see that too often, but here comes AJ. Breaking ball, change up. Look at this.
And there's the curveball, and it misses way in. So 3-1.
3-1 and no fastballs. I would not expect AJ Griffin to give in here. And by give in, I mean he's not just going to throw a fastball down the middle because it's a 3-1 count.
This one popped up. He did throw the fastball, and it's popped up near second base. And Elvis tucks it away. That ends a 1-2-3 inning for AJ Griffin. Hey, when we come back, top of the second, Joey Gallo, who's been hitting some mammoth home runs, due up second. Gomez, Gallo, and Robinson Chirinos do this inning against Alberto Mejia. Carlos hitting .253, but with 14 home runs. Well, he's up there swinging against Mejia. Now, one of the first things you do when you see the pitching matchups is you go to see what kind of head-to-head numbers guys might have against the starters. And in the case of Mejia, there were none. He has never faced any of these Rangers hitters. And a breaking ball finds the outside corner. Strike two.
And so what that means is a lot of conversations from the guys that face him right away. Delino, of course, walked, so he saw a few pitches. Elvis Andrus, and even as sometimes we'll see this guys are walking to the plate. Saw it yesterday with Delino. They want to know, what's the fastball look like? The tailing, what's the life look like? Does it jump on you? Those kinds of things. Try to gather as much information as you possibly can, because when they're watching it on TV, they're watching that center field view, right? They get at least one view and a little bit of an idea of what those pitches may look like, but nothing compares to digging into the box and seeing what's going on. And so the Rangers do a very nice job of communicating with each other when they're facing a pitcher they just have not seen before or very much.
Pop-up foul over to the right side, out of play. Count stays 0-2. Last inning, Rangers got the first 3 men on. DeShields with a walk, and then back-to-back singles by Andrus and Mazzara. Set up away, and this one popped up again near the Twins dugout, and was a playable ball for Castro. Looked like he got perhaps a late start on that one.
Now, he definitely did. There was frustration on his part after that ball dropped. You see Jason Castro as he's coming over, trying to find that railing, and right off the glove. And I think he's probably more frustrated because you see him getting there kind of at the same time as the baseball. And had he picked up on it right away, he would have been there a lot earlier.
So second life for Gomez, and he swings and misses at the high fastball. 4 straight strikeouts now for Mejia. Hey, Rangers fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can still stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by AT&T and Hyundai. So Mejia, looking at the numbers, CJ, Mejia is not a huge strikeout guy. 65 strikeouts in 79 2/3 innings, but has run off 4 consecutive strikeouts to this point all of a sudden.
That's 7.3 strikeout per 9 rate, below league average, which is just over 8 these days. He's found some holes here in the Rangers swings, elevated a couple of fastballs, got Rougned Odor in the breaking ball that he was able to sweep away. Adrian Beltre had a called third strike, pretty questionable call. I think we agreed with his displeasure as far as what Mike Wolchinski thought. You see it there, it's not overpowering velocity, but he hasn't really left too many in the middle of the plate. A couple times he has. Nomar Mazzara laced the ball to left center field. Elvis Andrus hit a hard ball up the middle. Also seen some foul balls as well.
Well, gets that one right in there for a strike. 1-2, the count on Gallo. Gallo has struggled with the strikeouts this year, 132 of them, 4th most in the American League. Traded out though for the home runs, 28 home runs, and he swings and misses, and that is 5 straight strikeouts. All right, here comes Robinson Chirinos, and for a little more on Robbie, let's check in with Leslie McCaslin.
Well, guys, since the Rangers traded away Jonathan Lucroy, of course, tonight our State Farm winning combination is more responsibility and a great opportunity. That's what Robinson Chirinos has as the main guy behind the plate, because now instead of catching about every 3 days, he will catch 3 and 4 days in a row, then get a break to keep him fresh. And as Jeff Bannister said, give Brett Nicholas a chance. Chirinos told me this is nothing new for him. He always prepared like he was the catcher every day, especially mentally, guys.
Yeah, and there's a lot to that. I mean, he is that type of guy, and of course he's been in an everyday type role before for stretches at a time, and the count of 1-1.
No, definitely. And there's a really nice opportunity right now for Robinson Chirinos and a little bit more of that consistent playing time, which should help him offensively as well. What we saw him do at the beginning of the season was pretty special. Not just the fact that all of a sudden he was launching home runs at a rate that we'd never seen before, and at one point the best home run to at-bat ratio in Major League Baseball, but the fact that he was doing it and not playing every day. That is such a difficult thing to do. So I kind of believe Jeff Bannister thinks that home run stroke could come back with consistent playing time.
Little bloop out towards center field, and Buxton closes on that quickly, and it completes a 1-2-3. Top of the second inning for Mejia. We've played 1.5. Rangers lead 1-0. And our Kubota power stats tonight. A.J. Griffin back in the rotation. How about this? You give him a little bit of run support. 3 runs or more. 11-0 in a Rangers uniform. That's pretty good.
He's not used to seeing just 3 runs of support either. He has had some incredible run support this year. Now, he doesn't qualify. We said the same thing about Cole Hamels because they both had missed time. But his RSA run support average, 9.46. I told you, we talked about this last time. Sean Estes has the all-time record. I believe it's 8.3. Run scoring average. AJ's got him by over a run.
Swing and a miss here. So the count 0-2 on Joe Mauer. Well, Mauer 4 for 6 against AJ. Won't take the bait on that one. Mauer, though, at a 370 on base average, doesn't hit for the same power that he once did. Of course, now playing a lot of first base, occasionally DHing, and he's become a very serviceable, very good defensive first baseman. Check swing. Did he go? Yes. So a strikeout to start the second inning. Jeff Nelson, our third base umpire, rings him up.
Good at bat here by A.J. Griffin, and you see the side replay right there, not even close. Joe Mauer absolutely went on this pitch. You see that bat head come around across the plate. A.J. Griffin registers his first strikeout of the night.
We were talking about how Mejia earlier is not a big strikeout pitcher, and yet had chalked up a number of them. Well, AJ in 39 innings had recorded 35 strikeouts this year, so not a huge part of his game. Both guys fly ball pitchers. And there is a fly ball out towards center field, and Gomez several steps to his left puts it away. And there are 2 gone.
Well, not surprising to see so far out of the 5 outs that 4 of those have come via flyouts. AJ Griffin, not a ground ball pitcher at all, just a 30% ground ball rate. And that's because he elevates the fastball. We talked about it. He did it by accident against Sano to end the first inning. He was actually trying to go down and away on that 3-1 count with the fastball. He missed up and in, but his fastball up has a bigger effect than what you actually see on that radar gun, right? You're seeing upper 80s, but you see some of the swings that are taken, how guys will just end up missing that ball and popping it up a lot. That's because it jumps on them a little bit.
Well, it works to Eddie Rosario in the 2nd inning. Rosario hitting .284, and that one finds the outside corner. There's that big slow bender, 1-1.
It's so fun to watch. That pitch should have like a sound effect, like this as it's kind of coming in there. Here it is.
1-2 on Rosario. Rosario, one of those guys. Overall, numbers not bad for him this year. In particular, he has swung the bat well here in his home ballpark. A .324 average at Target Field. That's the 5th best home average in the league. So he's done his best work here. He's also done very good work over the years against the Texas Rangers. He's just one of those guys for whatever reason. This is the 15th game he's ever played against the Rangers. He has hits in 14. He rolls that one foul. Stays 2-2. You take the last 5 games that Rosario has played against the Rangers, 12 for 22. So yeah, not the name you circle on your scorecard when you walk into the ballpark, unless you're Jeff Bannister and Doug Brocail. Just off the plate, it's a full count. Rosario today batting 6th. Yeah, look at those numbers in 14 games. .377 average. For whatever reason, last year and even earlier this year, the Twins have played really good baseball, especially offensively against Texas. Paul Molitor. Molitor's done a very nice job with this group. Nobody expected much from the Twins this year. And he had this club out there very much in contention. And there's strike 3 called. Rosario turned away from the plate. It's a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 2nd for A.J. Griffin. 2 perfect innings to get his night started.
Well, we're going to look at good location on the fastball here from A.J. Griffin. A little 2-seam run right on the corner. And Rosario is the 2nd strikeout victim of A.J. Griffin.
And we move it along to the third inning. Top of the order coming for the Rangers. Delano DeShields, Elvis Andrus, and Nomar Mazara. A crisp, cool night up here in Minneapolis. 56 degrees at game time as DeShields lifts one back of first base. Long run out there for Kepler. And he gets to it. One out.
I mentioned the really good defense that they have here in Minnesota in the outfield. Kepler, a really good athlete. He's not played a ton of baseball in his career, of course. Born in Germany. You see him running over. Good closing speed. Gets to that one pretty easily.
So one pitch, one out. And now Elvis to the plate. Singled in the first inning. Rangers with a couple of hits early against Mejia. Both starters have done a real nice job to begin this one. And there's a strike to Andrus. Hey, tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp, Coors Light. Andrus, the first Rangers shortstop with 15 or more home runs in a season since Michael Young did it in 05, had 24 home runs. Think Elvis can catch him?
You know, he's been on a pretty unbelievable pace. So the idea of him hitting 9 more, I might be asking a lot. It's been a great season. You talked about it earlier that Elvis now has many home runs this season as he had combined between 2015 and 2016. You know, the thing that you always want to be careful of is that he doesn't try to hit those home runs, right? That's never been a huge part of his game, and we saw that first at bat as an example where he just lines the ball right up the middle. So his swing has not gotten big despite the fact that he has shown career high power.
That's a good point, and you know, really important when you think about his game, especially batting in the second spot of the order. Maintains the high average at 288 coming in. He's 5th in the American League with 122 hits. And he hits this one up the middle. That one is a base hit. He has 124 hits, 2 for 2 tonight. So a good night continuing for Andrus. It'll bring up Nomar Mazara. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Dana Larson. Yeah, thanks, Dana. 1-0 here as Nomar Mazara swings at the first pitch, grounds it sharply to second. Dozier to second one. Escobar's return in time, and that's a double play. So a 4-6-3 twin killing, and Rosario gets himself out of trouble in the third. We've played 2.5. Rangers lead 1-0. third inning. And we will see the bottom of the order for the Minnesota Twins. Grossman, Castro, and Myron Buxton. He joined us Saturday, August 12th. We're going to honor Hall of Famer Ivan Rodriguez. Come to the ballpark early. We're going to have a special pregame number retirement ceremony. That's always a lot of fun. But in addition, the first 15,000 fans to the gate will receive a Pudge Rodriguez Hall of Fame bobblehead, courtesy of Powerade and Walmart. You don't want to miss this historic day, so go ahead, get those tickets now. Plan ahead, unlike CJ, who lives life by the seat of his pants. Go to TexasRangers.com/Pudge.
Could not be further from the truth. When you're a Cub Scouts, when you're a Boy Scouts, you know the motto, buddy. Always be prepared. I don't just say it, I live it. Hey, Dana did the update on the Arizona Diamondbacks Cubs game and talked about those home runs. So Wade Davis allowed 2 home runs. That game has gone final now. The Diamondbacks won 10-8. Wade Davis has never allowed 2 home runs in a game in his 306 games as a relief pitcher.
Wow.
Never has he allowed multiple home runs until this one. I think about all those years he was so difficult yielding extra base hits. It's a nice victory for the Cubs, as you see a leadoff walk here for A.J. Griffin.
So Robbie Grossman on now for Jason Castro. There's your National League wild card look with the updated standings with that result. So the Diamondbacks with a half-game lead momentarily on the Rockies. And then really a pretty steep drop-off to get to the Brewers at 5.5 back, St. Louis 8.5 out. Are any of those teams still in it? Brewers, Cardinals, Marlins, Pirates, or is it just done?
No, listen, they're still in it. But whenever we talk about teams that start to get comfortable number of games back, teams in front of them that are playing well, they just have a really small margin for error. The clock is definitely ticking. It's August 3rd. Happy birthday, Mom, by the way.
Oh.
But
that was me, by the way. It wasn't your mom. Oh.
Yeah. She's not here. But anyway, your small margin for error at this time of the year when you're that far back. Do they really have a chance? It's going to be tough. Not overly optimistic for any of those clubs. But you never know. We have seen late season runs happen before. We've seen some pretty miraculous things happen in September.
Man on to start this third inning for Jason Castro. And the big curveball in there. Strike 2 called. I said earlier we were talking about Mejia and what the Rangers hitters may have done against him. You look for those matchups. There were none. Castro, meanwhile, the most experienced Twins player, certainly when it comes to batting against A.J. Griffin. 6 for 18 against him. That one in the dirt, smothered nicely by Chirinos. So 6 for 18. 4 of those hits have been home runs. So Jason Castro, probably a certain level of comfort standing in there tonight.
Makes a little bit of sense too if you think about A.J. Griffin, his style of pitching, where you would think the lefties might have a little bit of a better chance this year. 271 batting average against lefties, 237 against those righties. It is that fastball curveball combination. That ball's coming into lefties like you see there to Castro.
Fly ball center field, and Gomez right there for it. Another fly ball out for A.J. Griffin. All right, now here's Myron Buxton. Take note there at the bottom, 16 infield hits. This guy has incredible speed. Now that the numbers overall don't dazzle. 217 batting average, and even the on-base percentage a lot lower than they would like to see from Buxton. Let me ask you this. We talk so much about numbers anymore and stats, and on-base percentage is such a big one. People certainly favor that now much more so than batting average in a way that they did not, let's say, 10, 15 years ago. But if league average is 325, if you get Buxton, let's say, to 310, because of his blazing speed and the fact that he's going to steal on just about anybody. In which case a walk or however he gets to first base. A lot of times you kind of have to think of him at second base. Is a 310 on base for Buxton in some way comparable to a 325 on base average for the average hitter?
I see what you're saying. It still doesn't move him up in the order for me, though. And I get where you're going with it and saying, okay, well, when he gets on, the odds of him getting to second base are pretty good, especially if he's going to hit ninth and he's hitting in front of that leadoff hitter.
Hits his ball hard into left field. That's a base hit. First of the night for the Twins. The Shields into a slide for it, and it opens up a window. They're going to wave Grossman. He'll score without a throw. Buxton has the double, and he has tied this game at 1.
And no doubter double for Myron Buxton off the bat. We'll take a first look here at the pitch. You see Trinos wanting that ball away off the plate. Instead, it finished up and away, but over the plate, and the ball hit down the left field line. Delano tried to cut it off. He knew he had to get this thing in quickly with Buxton running. You see Robbie Grossman around third. I thought the Rangers actually would have had a play here. Now, the way it was lined up, you saw there was a double cut, and the ball went over both of the cutoff men. And eventually Adrian Beltre fielded the throw. I thought there still might have been a play, though, at home.
Now, Dozier back up for a second time, and he takes one under the arms for strike 1. So 1-out double by Buxton ties the game. Curveball, 1-1.
Let's take a look at this from the high home view and see whether or not. See, Delano gets over there, does everything he can to cut the ball off. But watch the throw. Right over Elvis, over Rougned Odor, and then you see Adrian there. At that point.
Fastball in there for strike 1 and 2. The count now on Dozier. Of course, those types of things don't go down as errors officially, but those mis-executions, I guess you could call it, at times they can pile up, and that was potentially a big one, as that one is inside. 2-2 the count.
All right, last one here. We'll take a peek and try to get a little bit of a feel. Watch the throw here over both of the cutoff men. You see it as Adrian catches that? Was a play at that point? Probably not. It would have been pretty close for Adrian. But if that went to Elvis or went to Rougned Odor and they wheel and throw, I think Castro's out. Oh, excuse me, Grossman is out. What do you think? You're looking at me sideways.
No. I'm with you on that. I think if you can hit a cutoff man in that spot, one of those two, with a crisp throw, then yeah, I think you've got a real legitimate shot at getting Grossman. Bouncer this time to shortstop, and Andrews will pump the glove. Throw over to first, and it brought Gallo off the bag, but he gets down in time. And Dozier is out. Now Molitor may want to challenge it, take a look.
This is going to be close, and we'll see. And Paul Molitor asking the umpires to hold on as they watch things in the Minnesota Twins clubhouse. Watch Joey Gallo. Ooh, that is close.
Wow. I've said for a million years there's no such thing as a tie. People always say the tie goes to the runner. No such thing.
You can't challenge it.
That is really close.
You can't challenge it, and they're not going to because of the way that it was called on the field. And had the call gone for the Twins, Jeff Bannister would not have been able to challenge it. There is nothing conclusive about that. When you get plays that are that close, whatever was called on the field is going to stand. And it's probably frustrating for some people. Say, wait a minute, either call would have worked? And the answer is yes.
Yes. Either call was right.
He was safe and he was out.
That goes as a 6-3 put out. Now, of course, either manager could challenge, but it just do no good. There's no way you're getting that one overturned.
By the way, I was just showing Paul Mahler over there. I mean, we got to have the most amount of 3,000 hit club members here in the ballpark tonight than most.
Yeah, I think we're probably in pretty good shape that way. Molitor with 3,319 was his final tally. So 2 away. Kepler moves this one very high in the air, but to short right field. And Mazzara puts it away, 2 in the inning. But the Twins get the run back. And we've played 3. We're tied at 1. We move along now to the 4th inning. Adrian Beltre, 3,002 hits as he will step in here. Al Kaline next on the list for him, 5 in front. The Hall of Famer, 22-year career for Kaline. What a brilliant young player he was. Drafted out of high school, signed out of high school. Straight to the big leagues, never played in the minor leagues, won a batting title at 20 years old.
Mr. Tiger. There he is. About an 18-time All-Star, 10 of those Gold Gloves as well. You see that batting title that he won in 1955. He had 200 hits that season, hit 340. League in batting average, hits, total bases. He had 27 home runs to chip in as well. Big number in 1955.
How about his total home run?
Yeah.
I mean, just 1 short of 400.
So as a 39-year-old, he had 13 home runs that year. Still had 630 plate appearances.
Beltre bloops this one out into left field, coming out for it, Rosario, and that is out number 1.
And hit 262 with a very respectable 337 on base percentage at 39, 1974. He was also an All-Star that year. And that was it. Shut piece. He was done.
22 years of it.
I told you, I got to know Al Kaline. Usually I got to spend in Detroit, but I can't play a round of golf without thinking about Al Kaline.
Why is that?
A golf tip that he gave me one time in spring training. When you're putting, I putt left-handed. About 80% of your weight, keep it on that front foot, the right foot, so that you finish through your putt. Every time. I can't play around the golf without thinking about Al Kaline. Make sure that weight is on the right side a little bit more, so that you're always going to get through your putt. You don't want to be 50-50. You certainly don't want to be the other way.
You're a pretty good putter?
No. But the weight is perfect.
He goes to second, and he is in there safely. They've got a very good defensive outfield. Rosario covered a lot of ground to get to that ball, but just could not quite haul it in. It goes as a double for Napoli.
Yeah, Mike Napoli does a nice job here getting a hold of this baseball, driving it down the left field line. It hung up there a little bit. You see Rosario coming over, and it was going to take a pretty good sliding play. He covered a lot of ground just in and out of the glove, and see him pick it up. Make a pretty good throw there to second base. So Mike Napoli gets in there easily for a one-out double.
So the Rangers with a man in scoring position now. Rougned Odor at the plate. He struck out in the first inning. And pops this one up, first base side, and heading toward the seats. Mauer gives it a look, but no play.
Odor had a couple of pitches, had a shot at a couple where Mejia had left some over the plate. There was a fastball, a breaking ball. There was another one there as well. Now, once he got him to that 2-strike count, after missing with a fastball and getting away with one, he did bury that slider. Threw a pretty good one down and away off the plate. So for Odor, I mean, you don't see him taking uncomfortable swings against Mejia, but I'll tell you what, he makes another mistake over the plate. It's feeling like Odor maybe will make him pay.
I see what you just did there. 1-strike pitch. That's 1-1.
That one actually had some good arm side run. We had not seen that earlier. Watch how this ball will just kind of dart down and in afterwards. They wanted to elevate, but look at that. Right, that's some good run on a left-handed fastball at 94 miles an hour. Earlier in the game, those were staying straight and even had a little bit of a natural cut to them.
This one off the handle, out toward left center field. Buxton on the run. He can't get there, but Rosario does. Throws it back to second, and Napoli able to hustle back ahead of it to throw a little bit offline. A nice play by Rosario out there. Anytime you see a ball out to that part of the ballpark, my instinct anyway is watch out for Buxton, but it was Rosario who stole it.
Yeah, good base running here by Mike Napoli. He got very aggressive in getting far off. You see him there. First, he thought the ball was down. Then he took a look, and I'm with you. It looked like Myron Buxton was getting ready to make a great play, but Rosario jumps in there as well. And we've mentioned it a couple of times here tonight. Look at Mike Napoli. That is really aggressive and good base running. He got back in plenty of time. You see him hustling. Maybe a little bit of a panic there for a second, but that's what you like to see in those spots, because if that ball gets down, he would have easily scored because of the aggressive lead and taking off as soon as that ball was hit. Very underrated base runner is Mike Napoli. Last year with the Cleveland Indians, Terry Francona had talked about that quite a bit. Something that stuck out. Not gonna, obviously not a burner, not going to steal you a bunch of bags or anything like that, but I felt like Mike Napoli ran the bases extremely well, took the extra base very efficiently.
One-strike pitch to Gomez, and he's in a hole 0-2.
Cover some ground. It's a big outfield here in Minnesota. They've done a good job as far as building their team in a way that suits the ballpark, fits the ballpark. They just need to see a little bit more of offensive production from that outfield. They'd be really happy.
That's good.
Turned foul. Count stays 0-2 on Gomez. I think as the concrete dries out here, you'll see that offense improve.
Listen, I was just relaying a story for those of you that don't know. We talked about it earlier in the season. A lot of home runs here at Target Field. That was not the case when this ballpark opened. With 2009, is that when it opened?
You got me on that one, yeah. Right in that range.
And there was a story circulating. Jason Giambi said that don't worry, give it a little bit of time, a couple of years, because there was nothing getting hit out of here. Everything was dying. They said wait till the concrete dries out. The ball's going to carry more. And, you know, mention it then, mention it now. Italian last name, concrete. I'm going to trust it. They know what I'm talking about.
Open 2010.
10, okay. A lot of home runs here over the last couple of years. I mean, Brian Dozier hit some absolute bombs here last year going up to that third deck.
In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Gomez.
There he is. 42 home runs last year for Brian Dozier.
He didn't discriminate where he hit the home runs last year. He hit them everywhere.
Yeah.
What a huge year.
Because that was the big thing, too, when the ballpark opened. Well, you'd leave the Metrodome, which was a hitter's heaven. pitcher's nightmare in that ballpark. I've pitched a bunch there over the course of my career. Then you come here, and also the ball's not flying anymore. You're not playing on turf anymore. There were some questions of whether or not it made sense to give Joe Mauer that big contract, because it felt like this ballpark was just eating up all of his home runs.
A full count now on Carlos Gomez.
But they did a nice job here. It's a beautiful ballpark.
Oh, it is. I do really love this place. You know, playing outdoors, that's nice. You know, I think a lot of folks up here really wanted that. Now the weather can be dicey. I felt like that. There's the chance that might affect attendance. The 3-2 pitch. That one is low. Ball 4. So there goes Gomez. Rangers have a couple of men on. That's a good at bat for Carlos Gomez.
Very good at bat. He fell behind 0-2. Worked himself to that full count and then drew himself a walk. You find yourself doing this, right? The Rangers now a couple of years away from their new ballpark. Texas Live is already broken ground, but you start looking around a little bit. So, yeah, I like this, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Not that anybody cares about our opinion when it comes to the new ballpark, but I'm like, it's got to be a nice little featured ad or something similar. Oh, that portion they have out there in left field, just in foul territory, those different tiers. Nice outdoor space down the left field line. Pretty cool.
Two men out there for Gallo. A 1-1 game, and Gallo swings and misses. Strike 2. Joey struck out in the second. Yeah, my critique of new ballparks always begins with the location of the broadcast booth.
Yep.
And they did a spectacular job here.
Very nice. And I think that's where they start anyway. When the architects get together, they start in the TV, radio booths, and then they kind of work their way around everything else. You know, where should we put first base? What about the bullpens? It's a pecking order.
That's intriguing. So you think they start with first base and then
the bullpen. All right, what about third? Yeah, I think.
I don't know why I always felt like they started with, you know, with the plate.
Maybe.
But I like the idea of starting with first. You're left-handed. Why not?
I've never built a stadium before.
But you can still have an opinion on it. That's okay.
Like everything else.
1-2. And this ball hit well out to center field. Buxton looking up. That one is sailing into the upper deck. Wow, he has done it again. Joey Gallo with a mammoth home run. This one good for 3 runs. And the Rangers lead 4-1.
This is getting really fun to watch. I can't imagine how much fun it is for Joey Gallo as he goes ear to ear with that smile as he crosses home plate. It just seems like these home runs are getting bigger and bigger. And as much as we've talked about this ballpark and it being a big one, and lately the ball traveling pretty well, you don't see this too often, and not a terrible pitch either from Mejia. But look where this thing lands. Upper deck. Well, it came back down, at least as far as where it hit. My favorite part of that was Myron Buxton, all he did was turn around.
Yeah.
He didn't take any steps. All he did was up. Yep, that one's out of here.
Trinos fouls that one off his foot. Man. So he's been hitting them with some consistently now, but he has been just absolutely launching them. Look at Jeff Bannister talking to him. I mean, just total amazement. Man. Number 29 on the year for Gallo. I wonder how we're doing on distance for that one.
You know how we feel about that, how that has been as of late. Good thing, too, for Joey with a couple of runners on base to get that RBI total up a little bit. Times this year he's only been driving himself in, and so an opportunity with some runners on base, and Joey Gallo picks himself up 3 RBIs.
2-strike pitch, and that one is off the plate.
Are you ready?
Yeah, hit me.
430.
What?
Yeah, this one's a little bit harder to read for me in this ballpark. So you see 403 there. At least we can see it.
Yeah, just Gallo.
Right center field. Yeah, that might.
Yeah, but it was
Pretty high, though. I'm thinking of the trajectory coming down, like where that ball actually would have landed. I'll buy that. I'll buy something close to it. I don't think that's that far off.
2-2 now to Chirinos. 4-1 Rangers. Well, I'm certainly not going to step it off, so we'll go with it. Mejia up and away, and it is a full count. Seems like Mejia has had some opportunities this inning to put guys away, but hasn't been able to finish. Three-two. And this one popped up. Right side Mauer.
Ooh.
Ranging down and has trouble with that one. And it will extend the at-bat for Chirinos. Now, I don't know, looking at his reaction, I don't know if that one moved on him a little bit at the end because of the wind or if he had trouble on the lights, but that more than likely would be an error.
It should be. He ended up overrunning this baseball to Joe Mauer, and you'll see him come over and got plenty of time to get under this thing, and I think he just overran it. That will be an error.
So the error keeps the at-bat going. And now the payoff again. Chirinos up the middle. That's a base hit. Buxton ranging over to cut it off. Chirinos with the 2-out single turns the lineup over.
Robinson Chirinos, you mentioned taking advantage of a second opportunity. We've seen a lot of this from the Rangers on some of these hits. Look at that approach. That's a pretty good pitch. It's up a little bit, but it's 94 miles an hour. Looks like it might have been just off the plate. And Robinson takes it right back up the box.
So a good inning continues. DeShields 0 for 1. And bunts it first base side. That's going to be a tough play. Nobody home at first. And so everybody's safe. It's a bunt hit for Delino DeShields.
It was a good thing Mejia did not come up and throw that ball and try to make a play. As a pitcher, you're busting off the mound and you're thinking, oh, I know Delino DeShields is a fast runner. I have to make something happen here. At this point, he doesn't know where Joe Mauer is. He's just thinking about catching the baseball, and for whatever reason, Mauer came over, and those are tough when you have a lefty, or excuse me, when you have a runner with speed and you have the first baseman over there. Essentially, what the first baseman has to do is hold the bag, because if he fields the ball, the runner's going to be safe anyway.
So a visit now and some activity in that bullpen. Dylan G, the former Ranger, getting ready. Delino, his 6th bunt hit, most in the American League. Now that's in 38 attempts. But that was a good one. Had everybody off balance there as Neil Allen, the pitching coach, back into the dugout for the Twins. And Mejia a chance to gather himself, see if he can right the ship a little bit in this 4th inning.
It was a smart bunt too, right? To the right place. You think about left-handed pitcher falling off to that third base side a little bit. Perfectly placed. And the inning stays alive here now for Elvis Andrus.
Elvis already 2 for 2.
Do we have an estimate on that last home run from Gallo?
Both singles right back up the middle. 4-1 Rangers. A 3-run homer this inning by Gallo has broken the tie. And that one a little low. 2-0. skips up there. So 3 balls, no strikes, and Mejia's getting into some dangerous territory here. Had 2 outs, gave up the home run to Gallo, a good extended at bat. Then Chirinos, after an error, extended the at bat, got the base hit. DeShields with the bunt single. You'd understand the frustration if you're Mejia. But the last thing he wants to do here is load it up. Nomar Mazara waiting on deck. 3-0. And Elvis taken all the way. And that's ball 4, so they are loaded.
Robinson Chirinos was pretty confident that that was a ball, but he didn't see a call and just wanted to make sure before he started heading down to third base, and wisely so.
So now loaded up, and the 9th batter of the inning, Mazara, coming to the plate. Omar has a hit. An RBI single back in the first inning.
Even that double play ball that he hit in the third, he hit that ball pretty hard. Just got on top of it a little bit. So, as we mentioned earlier, left-handed hitters and left-handed pitchers should be an uncomfortable at bat, but these Ranger hitters have taken some very comfortable swings, especially those lefties we're talking about. Nomar's hit the ball hard a couple of times. Of course, then the home run from Joey Gallo as well. We've seen some good swings from Rougned Odor. Hasn't got a hit yet to show for it, but comfortable swings against the lefty Mejia.
There's a big cut there. The count 0-2.
Good pitch here going below the zone. Its slider did not sweep as much as he wanted, but it was the speed differential and the location that got Nomar Mazara out front.
Chirinos third, DeShields second, Andrus at first. And timeout taken. Four runs, 7 hits for the Rangers. The pitch to Mazara. And he stays alive, 0-2. A chance really to crack this one wide open here.
It'll take some work here from Nomar, down 0-2 in the count, but he sees those runners out there, a couple in scoring position. 302 batting average for him in these situations this year. Has been very good in these spots. Little note here from John Blake with the target field home run for Joey Gallo tonight. 29 home runs in 13 different parks.
0-2. Of course, there's always a lot of focus on guys like Joey Gallo and the season that he has had. I mean, you're talking 29 home runs, almost at 30 home runs. We're just at the front of August. And this is his first full year in the big leagues. Wow, the 0-2. And again, fought off foul.
Was red hot right now. 40 certainly does seem like it could be a possibility. Last year's league leader hit 47. And there were some spurts. Joey obviously got a ton of playing time early. You see there with his 29, just 5 behind Aaron Judge, the American League leader right now. Got really steady playing time when Adrian Beltre was out. When Adrian came back, it wasn't as steady, right? They moved him around a little bit, some first base, some DH, some days off. I think that's what makes us all the more impressive. The other guys on that list playing every day, playing consistently.
0-2. He really laboring in some of these at bats here in this 4th inning.
Look at that pitch count now at 90. This has been a nice at bat from Nomar Mazara, down 0-2 really quickly. Another meeting here. A lot of communication going on. 30 in the first, 39 now here in the 4th. So the Rangers have done an excellent job in this inning to get the pitch count up, because second and the third were really strong for Mejia.
He readies again, the 1-2. And there's a swinging miss. Mazara strikes out, 2 in the 4th inning, but a productive 4th inning it was. Joey Gallo with a 3-run bomb to center field. It's 4-1 Rangers.
Bottom of the 4th as we welcome you back to Minneapolis. Joey Gallo just hit his 3rd home run in 3 games, and of course everybody wants to talk about how far he's hitting them. That one here tonight at Target Field about 430. 2 the nights before went over 450. Everybody wants to talk about it, that is, except for Joey Gallo, who told me before the game, really, this is nothing new. He said when he was little, he could hit it far. People would say, oh, you can't hit it there, you can't hit it there, and he said, I just always could. He said, I realize it's exciting for fans, but it all counts the same to me, except for guys when it counts for 3, which of course that one just did his 7th home run in 10 games.
Yep, he's on a nice run right now. And the Rangers power bats, Gallo and certainly Rougned Odor, the 2 of them really locked in as a pair. Griffin dumps that one into Sano. It's 1-1 to start the bottom of the 4th inning. Sano 0 for 1 popped up earlier. And pops this one up, but fouling out of play. Sano, a dangerous hitter, 25 home runs, 71 RBIs. And a curve swung on and missed, strike 3. 3rd strikeout tonight for A.J. Griffin.
This is nice work here by A.J. You got to be careful with Miguel Sano. Tremendous power in that bat, and that was a curveball. It started up pretty high, but continued to break, and that speed differential is so tough. And Miguel Sano unable to make some contact. Great pitch by A.J.
So that's a nice strikeout to get things started in the bottom of the 4th. And now up a little high, ball 1 to Joe Mauer. Mauer struck out in the 2nd inning, and no doubt a little frustrated after making an error last inning that caused his pitcher to have to go 3 extra batters in the order. A tough error for Mauer, who is ahead here 2-0. Of course, on a night when I mentioned earlier that he's been pretty good defensively at first base.
Oh, yeah, that was a surprise to see. It's been a few years now for Joe Mauer, where he's hung up that catcher's gear and pretty much is becoming full-time first baseman DH. And yeah, they've been very happy with the defense that they've gotten from him.
Two balls and a strike. A little tapper back to the mound. Nice play by A.J. Griffin. Nice little underhand toss. Retires Mauer, 2 away in the 4th inning.
Nice job here by A.J. Griffin, showing off that athleticism. This little slow ground ball, one hopper. Took kind of a funny hop. Looked like it might have hit the plate. Good reaction. And a very nice quick 2 outs here for A.J. in the 4th. You always like to see that after your team puts up some runs. Come back with a quick one. He is 1 out away from doing so.
His first pitch in there for a strike to Eduardo Escobar. There's that big curve again, and it's 0-2. Well, we say it all the time what a fun pitch it is to watch. Really fun when he's able to throw it in there for strikes like he has tonight. And tries it again, this time off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Escobar. Now, Griffin getting closer to 60 pitches. Jeff Bannister earlier this afternoon saying probably about 90 is where he'd like to stop Griffin tonight. Fastball, this one swung on, lifted high in the air, but out into short right center. And Gomez in position to complete the 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Griffin. So another very good effort by him. We go to the 5th. For the Unlimited Baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. How about the Orioles? 2.5 games out of the wild card now in the American League. 17 of the next 20 games against teams with losing records. So every time you think the Orioles are done, they sort of bounce right back. Nolan Arenado, 26 RBIs since the break, most in baseball. Rockies still holding that second National League wild card with a pretty good advantage there. And Mike Trout, now the 4th player in American League history with 6 20-plus home run seasons before his age 26 season. Pretty impressive. Dylan G now on in relief here for Minnesota.
Yeah, here is the former Ranger Dylan G, of course, who was in spring training with the Rangers, started the season at AAA, and then eventually earned himself a call-up. Was outrighted and decided to become a free agent, landed here with the Minnesota Twins. And there was some talk about whether or not maybe he would start on Saturday, because their Saturday starter was TBD, TBA, whatever, one of those. But they since have announced that Kyle Gibson will make that start. So Dylan G in this game here tonight with the Twins.
So Dylan G is not TBD. He's on right here. Ready to go in this 5th inning. Adrian Beltre, first batter he'll face, and he pumps one in there for a strike.
Talk about those Baltimore Orioles. There was a lot of talk leading up to the deadline. Would they trade their closer, Zach Britton, one of their really good, solid setup men, and Brad Brock? They didn't do any of it. They took some criticism for it. Pretty amazing if they found themselves right in the wild card hunt to the end of the season. I don't know if they have enough necessarily to hold on, but certainly feel a little bit justified if they made this thing close by not moving on from any of those impact arms.
Ball and 2 strikes on Adrian Beltre. And he chases that one off the plate for strike 3 and a strikeout. Is how we begin the top of the 5th inning. Hey, August 17th, the next Ozarka online ticket Thursday when you Rangers take on the Chicago White Sox. And tickets for all Thursday home games are half price to the upper reserved upper box and Lexus Club Terrace. Just go to texasrangers.com/special and use the coupon code Ozarka to redeem this offer. Napoli takes strike 1. 1 for 2 with a double. Scored a run as part of that 3-run 4th inning. And a curveball sliced away foul. Makes it 0-2. Dylan G is now the 30th pitcher used by the Twins this year. And that is a new franchise record for them.
That's amazing. And not only a record, but keep talking about there's still 2 months to go in the season. Yeah. That's something that usually happens in September. I remember playing here. I guess it was like 0-2. Let's say we got up to like 27 pitchers, something like that season. We tied or set a record with the Rangers at the time, whatever it was, but it was in September. We're doing that the first week in August.
There's a swinging strikeout of Napoli, and G has punched out the first 2 he has faced. You know what else is amazing about that, though? And it is kind of a remarkable number. We just saw the Mariners. They've used 33 pitchers, and it is not a franchise record for them.
That is amazing.
So 2 away now, and here is Rougned Odor.
So does it speak to their consistency of never having a huge number here in Minnesota? Maybe that's it.
And possibly, right? Could. I mean, that is a big number.
Expect to use on a decent year 8 or 9 starters that are going to get starts. In a bad year, you know, some injuries or some ineffectiveness, that number can get into the double digits. 12 different guys making starts for you. But still, that means 18 different relievers. Unless you're the Mariners, and it's 23 different relievers.
G way off the plate, 2-1. Odor struck out in the 1st inning and flew out in the 4th. That's a piece of that one. It's 2-2. It's the 2nd go-round for Dylan G with the Twins. Just recalled 2 days ago. I've been pitching down at AAA, made 5 starts down there, so the ability to go long for them if needed. And he gets Odor to pop this one up out into shallow left field. Going out for it is Escobar. Coming in is Rosario, and it is Rosario who makes the catch to end the inning. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Dylan G. We're halfway there tonight. Rangers lead by 3. by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now during the Ford Summer Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, we continue here going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Rangers with the 4-1 lead. A.J. Griffin looking very good so far here tonight. And deals up and away. Ball 1 to Eddie Rosario. It'll be Eddie Rosario, Robbie Grossman, and Jason Castro in the bottom of the 5th. One and one. Now, we said it earlier, Rosario's been a tough adversary for the Rangers last couple of years and hit the ball well here at home. But he did strike out looking back in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. Wanted it in, but Griffin missed outside. 2-2 the count.
The Twins have themselves kind of an interesting situation here with Rosario, who's doing a really nice job.
Serves this one out over short. That's in for a base hit.
Yeah, he's 25 years old, 1 year service time, but they also really like Zach Granite as well, 24-year-old. He's getting his first taste of the big leagues and doing a pretty good job and has shown some power at the minor league level. Some talk about whether or not they might be interested in trading Rosario's got great value as they're sitting there going through their rebuild, even though there's a lot of years of control. That could be one of their movable pieces that could help them out on the pitching side if they feel like they could find the right match. We'll see how things kind of play out the rest of the season with Granite getting his opportunity.
Griffin starts Robbie Grossman with strike one. Grossman walked and eventually scored the one Twins run so far today. That was back in the 3rd inning. 0-2 the count.
Well, here's the breaking ball again from A.J. Griffin, and he's been in the strike zone and it's been out of the strike zone. Now, Trinos wanted this one down and in, but still serves the same purpose, even though it's over the plate and down out of the strike zone. Ahead in an 0-1 count. Get an aggressive hitter, and Grossman can't lay off of it. Now way ahead in the count here, 0-2.
Curveball, and this one hit out toward right field. Mazzara right in position, and so that is out number 1. All right, a man on, 1 out for Jason Castro. First, though, a Chevy game break as we send it back to Dana Larson. Yeah, thanks, Dana. Good day for Lucroy at the plate today, and of course, scoring the game winner. Jeff Bannister asked a lot of questions earlier today about former Rangers when they move on to new clubs, and he didn't hesitate. He said, of course I'm rooting for him. Want him to do well. As we get going here with Jason Castro, and he takes ball 1.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. Listen, you know, Jonathan didn't have his greatest of years. He was really good last year in the 2 months when he came over here. A little bit of a slower year for him offensively in the 4 months that he spent with the Rangers. But yeah, I mean, that came every day, worked his tail off, prepared always, did a really nice job with the pitching staff, and so there's no ill will. They just decided since he was going to be a free agent that they'd be better off trading him at this point. We had a lot of friends in that clubhouse between the players and the coaches, and certainly everybody wishes him well. It's a free agent year too. A lot of pressure on him. First opportunity. So having that little bit of a down year might work out better for him. Getting those last 2 months in Colorado, of course, a great place to hit. little more familiarity for him with all those years playing in the National League with the Brewers. So hopefully he has a nice 2 months heading into his free agent year.
1-1 pitch. That one a little bit off the plate. 2-1 to Castro. Castro with a fly ball out back in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 1. In fact, the Twins with just 2 hits so far. Castro now 30 years old and takes that one a little bit low. It's 3-1. Former 1st-round draft pick, longtime Houston Astro, signed a 3-year deal with the Twins last November. And hits this one on the ground. Shortstop Andrus, quick flip to second. Odor's turn in time. Double play. 6-4-3 Twin killing inning done for A.J. Griffin, and we go to the 6th. 4-1 Rangers. Sonic Drive-In, our jackpot $100 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Rangers are hitting for Pat Youngblood from Copper Canyon tonight. So if a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Pat will win $100. If a Ranger hits a grand slam in the inning, that'll be another $25,000 for Pat. So good luck, Pat. We've had winners the last 2 nights. So it's a good time to be playing in our 6th inning grand slam inning. Seven, 8, and 9 due in this 6th. Gomez, Gallo, Chirino. Oh, Gallo. Oh boy.
Pat with a little fist pump at home right now on the couch.
He's got one eye on the TV. He's grabbing the keys, ready to go to Sonic. Cash in on some of those tater tots, man. It's the first pitch to Gomez off the plate for a ball. Run in the 1st, 3 in the 4th for the Rangers. Dylan G for a 2nd inning of work. Gomez fouls him off. It's 1-1. We got to spend a little time with Dylan G this year during spring training, and then with the big club. Had a brief stint with the Rangers. Good Texan, G from Cleburne. And runs that one right on the outside corner. It's 2-2.
Really nice guy. Had a good spring. They were kind of caught in between on what they wanted to do. And, you know, he was in that spot as a veteran where he could have walked at the end of spring training, but the Rangers convinced him to stay, and he did get an opportunity eventually with the big league club. That's a unique position where you feel like you go in, you did what you had to do, but there's not a spot for you in the opening day roster. Do you take that chance of becoming a free agent at the end of spring training? That can get really difficult because more often than not, teams are trying to figure out what they are going to do and having too many guys as opposed to maybe not having enough. That's usually the case. And so becoming a free agent at that time can be very difficult. It worked out for Dylan G, at least in the short term, where he stayed with the Rangers into the minor leagues and did eventually find his way back in the big leagues.
He made 3 relief appearances and a start for the Rangers, but then ultimately asked for his free agency and was signed by the Twins in late June 22nd.
Now that is a good time to be a free agent as a veteran guy. At that point, a lot of teams are looking for pitching.
Well, he strikes out Gomez, 3rd strikeout so far tonight for G. That brings up Joey Gallo. What's he done lately?
Caught a couple of balls off the end of the bat, I think. Nope, actually he's been squaring up baseballs pretty consistently as he goes deep in front of the Hyundai Club there. And then here tonight, into the upper deck. Tremendous power from Joey Gallo, big smiles. He has been red hot as of late.
A healthy swing right there. Comes up empty. But that's 7 bombs in the last 10 games. Tough to go on a stretch much hotter than that. 1-1 the count.
Odor's trying to give him a run for his money. Ruben Odor also been swinging a very nice power bat here lately. Go back and forth, which you really like when you start thinking about Joey Gallo, Ruben Odor, the years that they're having. Over 50 home runs between them, 53 now combined. 22, 23-year-olds. I mean, that is exciting. Good power already at the big league level with some room to grow. It's only going to get better. Both of those guys.
Good hitters count here. G to the plate, 3-1, and carves off a part of the plate there. Full count.
I'll give you an idea. Dylan G certainly very well aware of the power. Not going to give in with a fastball to Joey Gallo. 3-1. We'll see what he does 3-2.
Upstairs. So he walks Gallo. Rangers have a man on in the 6th inning. All right, so for some more on Joey Gallo, let's check it again with Leslie McCaslin.
Well, Jeff Bannister loves what he's seeing from Joey Gallo as far as the power, where he's making contact. He said the one thing that he really wants to change as this season goes on and next year is to get him in more significant spots in the lineup. It's something he's talked to him about moving him up higher in that lineup and hoping that he gains some confidence there, guys, as he moves on with this Rangers ball club.
Well, certainly part of what you can see in the future is, you were alluding to too, CJ. You talk about some really young guys showing consistent, very good power at the big league level. And so maybe not right now. Maybe Gallo, batting 8th tonight. Odor batting 6th tonight. You can certainly see a day, though, where those two are right in the heart of things. In those 3, 4, and 5 spots. Start putting those kind of powerful hitters together in your order. Nomar Mazara mixed in. When you consider the really, really young guys, wow. A lot to build around, a lot of hope and optimism with that group.
And that's part of the reason for me why you'll never really see the Rangers go into any kind of full rebuild mode. They already have good young players at the big league level, guys that you expect to be around for a long time contributing. Odor, Gallo, Mazara. Think about some of those position players. Already have Elvis Andrus is going to be here for a while. This is not a team that is dealing with a bunch of older players with contracts you can't move. Right, that's when the conversation starts. Like, should you go into a rebuild? No, the young players are here right now. It's just a matter of maybe adding another piece or two here and there. Retooling, I think, is probably the right word to use as far as what we'll potentially see here with the Rangers in the offseason.
1-2. Ooh, that came in on Chirinos. Looking for it off the plate. But, talking about those guys, Gallo with the walk here. How about this? When they get on base, Gallo, when he reaches, scores over 52% of the time. And that is most in big league baseball. Odor not far behind, a little over 51% of the time when they get on. Now, part of that is when they get on, they're usually just kind of jogging.
Driving themselves in.
Yeah. Toss over there again to first base. Gallo can run too. We talk about the power, but it's the athleticism of Gallo. Big guy, so strong. And we've seen it manifest itself with the 29 home runs, but 6 stolen bases in 6 attempts. He can move. And he is running, and the pitch is high. The throw to second, not in time. Gallo with a steal of second base, his 7th steal of the year.
And it remains perfect. 7 for 7 now for Joey Gallo, and it's sneaky speed, and it's a matter for him of picking the right times to go, picking the right pitcher and picking the right moments. He's done a very good job of that. You see him barely getting in there.
Of course, it's a walk to Chirinos, right? The pitch was high, and so it's a walk. And so,
come on, give it to him anyway.
Yeah, not stolen base. Well, such as line hit by pitch.
Well,
no one get a grazing.
We're crushing it tonight, buddy. First give Joey Gallo a stolen base, then we correct ourselves erroneously and say, well, actually, it was a walk.
Yeah.
And no, that's wrong also.
Fake news.
Hit by pitch. That's why you put Statman in the booth with the 2 dummies that are talking about the game.
Guess what I saw?
It's like having our own ombudsman live. Ombudsman?
Ombudsman, yeah. And that's a really good thing, too. It's a pitch to Delino in there for a strike. Wait, what happened?
We are in Minnesota. This much I know.
Now to Shields with a bunt single that last time up. He's also walked and scored a run. And G off the plate. It is 1-1. Two-man aboard, 1 out here in the 6th inning. Rangers already with the 3-run lead. They've given 4 runs of support to A.J. Griffin, his first start back off the disabled list. We were talking earlier about run support for A.J. and how well he does when he gets a little support. When he gets 4 or more runs of support in his starts in his career, it's happened 34 times. He's 29-0. And the team has gone 32-2. Now, that's not to say the Rangers would take a little more, and they've got an opportunity here in the 6th inning to cash in on that. Gallo at second, Chirinos at first. G's 2-2. And a bouncer, second base. Dozier goes to second for 1. Escobar back to first, but nowhere near in time. Not with Delino's speed. He beats it out. A fielder's choice puts Gallo at third. And with the Shields over there at first base, they're on the corners with 2 out.
Yeah, you knew this was going to be a difficult one to turn. It was not hit hard enough. Escobar doing everything he possibly can. Dozier with a good feed, but you're just not going to get Delino to Shields in that kind of situation. Easily safe, and so that will give Elvis Andrus an opportunity now with a couple of runners on.
Elvis has already had a real nice night. It's reached all 3 times he's come up. And G gets him to swing and miss at a wicked sweeping breaking ball that time. Not a lot of north and south, but that one moving east and west and dramatically. Andrews takes a strike at the count 0-2. Ryan Blackney, our plate umpire tonight. So Elvis now 6 of last 7 appearances has made his way to first. And sometimes you lose a little track of that. But he had the double, the homer, and the single last night in his last 3 at-bats. A little comebacker ends the threat in the 6th inning. Rangers leave him on the corners. Dylan G puts up a second goose egg tonight. We go to the bottom of the 6th. AJ Griffin cruising.
High-speed replay, and this replay will be all about AJ Griffin tonight, who has done an excellent job so far here through 6 innings. Good strikeouts, some good painting with the fastball on the corners, getting Miguel Sano way out front on that AJ Griffin curveball. Some weak contact as well. He has kept these Minnesota Twins hitters off balance all night, and there he is, AJ. Getting ready to start his 6th inning of work.
Well, so far so good. Amazing efficiency tonight. You figure you haven't pitched in a big league game in over 2 months. When you're coming into the first 5 innings, you face 2 over the minimum. Doing a nice job. Fit right back in, pitching aggressively in a ballpark that has been able to hold him so far tonight, in a liner out to second base. Odor hauls it in to retire Buxton, 1 away in the 6th inning.
And take a little bit of luck too. And it does seem like when AJ is rolling and keeping that good pace, a lot of times he does have these as well. Falls behind the count, hard line drive. There's the breakdown of the pitches for AJ tonight. 75 now. A bulk of those, 43 of them fastballs, 23 curveballs, and 9 changeups for him. Overall, he has kept the ball in the strike zone. 60% strikes for AJ tonight. Although this year, he's thrown 66% strike. That is a very high rate. League average is around 63, 64 for AJ, but 60% tonight, 66% coming into this game for the season.
Dozier pops this one up. Third base. And Beltre tucks it away. So 2 gone. Well, now Max Kepler. Hey, you want to be one of the first 10,000 fans to the ballpark on Sunday, August 13th to get one of these Rangers talking alarm clocks, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Brookshire's. Rangers and the Astros, it's a 2:05 game. You get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972 Rangers. Wake up! It's baseball time in Texas. That is pretty cool. And now Max Kepler. Griffin right in there, and the count 1-1 on Kepler, who twice is flied out, once to left, once to right.
Talked about Kepler earlier, born in Germany, signed at 16 years old by the Minnesota Twins, and they had him in Fort Myers, where they have their spring training and their A-ball team down in Florida, where he went and finished high school in Florida. Now, English was a non-issue for him. His mom's from Texas, his dad's from Poland. The dancers in the German ballet. Very interesting, this whole kind of upbringing.
Got good footwork. But he strikes out here and completes a 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Griffin. Boy, get yourself a little rest, young man. Nice job. The seventh inning. Hey, let's take a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. This is a 4-game series, so back out here again tomorrow night for a 7 o'clock game. Pre-game coverage beginning at 6:30 here on Fox Sports Southwest, and then again a little earlier on Saturday, much earlier on Sunday, and then we get way out to New York, an off day on Monday before a quick 2 games out at Citi Field in New York.
Check out A.J. Griffin as he came in after that 6th inning, and Jeff Bannister with a handshake and a little bit of an explanation, because you know when they tell him he's coming out of this game, A.J. said, well, did you see the 6th inning? Have you seen my pitch count? Are you sure? I think Jeff Bannister not wanting to push it. You're going to see Doug Roquel kind of sending that same message as well. So you know what? Probably not such a great idea. Let's plug and play it safe. First game back. Excellent job. So we are making the assumption, but it does appear that A.J. Griffin is done. Keone Kela is warming up in the Ranger bullpen, so it appears that he will come on for the 7th inning. There's Kela.
1-1 to Mazzara. G out for a 3rd inning of work. How about that line? That looks good.
Excellent line, efficiency, just the 2 hits. Lots of weak contact. Those pop-ups that we saw off the bat of the Minnesota Twins. Jay looked good. It really is fun to watch him elevate that fastball. 86 to 90, probably sitting what, 87, 88 most of the night. And you see these hitters just popping it straight up in the air, really having a difficult time squaring it up, and then there comes that floater, 67 miles an hour, the breaking ball. Excellent job of keeping these guys off balance all night.
Ball and 2 strikes now. Mazzara, base hit and 3 tries. This one fouled away too. The count stays 1-2. G popping that one at 91 miles per hour, but up out of the zone.
Nomar's 1 for 3 in his career off of Dylan G. Hit a home run off of him last year.
Taps this one by the mound towards second base. Dozier slings it over to first, 1 away. Well, hey, don't miss Aaron Watson in a post-game concert on Saturday, August 19th, presented by Budweiser. The White Sox in town, and then the concert after the game. Go to TexasRangers.com/concerts for game tickets, and then a little more information on how you can see the Aaron Watson concert from the field. Adrian Beltre, quiet night so far, 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts tonight for Adrian. Came in with the average over 300. And the on-base percentage approaching 380. We've talked about it a little bit in his 38-year-old season. Still hitting the ball with great proficiency and power. 9 home runs. Considering he missed the first 51 games of the year. 2-1. And that's ball 3. Beltre wearing those, not shades, just those glasses, protective glasses. Sometimes on cool evenings, guys wear those, what I guess to kind of keep the eyes from drying out in the cold.
I think it's a little bit windy too, right? So a cool wind. Of course, we just came from Arlington, where it had been hot and humid most of that homestand, and so for certain guys, if their eyes start to tear up a little bit, get a little bit watery, I gotta believe that's the reason he has those on, because those are not prescription glasses.
So, silly question, not that you would know, but I know, give it a shot.
Go for it.
Any worse these situations when you're talking about, you know, bouncing back after a late travel night, guys get to bed 4:30 in the morning?
I think so. You always worry about the next day. A lot of times come in on adrenaline, a little bit of a different feel, you know, temperature's down, your body feels maybe a little bit better, but you do worry about it. I mean, not changing time zones is helpful in that spot. If this was a game maybe taking place in Seattle, I'd be a little bit more concerned. Bodies would probably be dragging a little bit, but anytime you do, you know, have those late nights where you get in real late, rain delays or whatever it may be, a lot of times 2 days after, that's when it gets you.
Bouncer at third base. Backhand stop. Sano. Long throw. Dug out nicely at first by Maurer to get Beltre 2 away. I don't know. My eyes are drying up a little bit. Anyway, 2 gone. Mike Napoli coming up. Leslie McCaslin talked to Joey Gallo a little bit about this earlier this afternoon, right, Leslie?
Yeah, guys, I did. I mean, it was a late night. They landed around 3, got to the hotel around 4. I mean, by the time you kind of settle down and go to sleep, it's almost 5 o'clock. But when I talked to Joey Gallo before the game, he said basically, look, if you've been in the minor leagues, this is way better. Sometimes you're taking 3 flights, you're flying commercial, you're getting in late, you're playing the next day. I mean, it's kind of one of those things, the glass is half full for him. It definitely is, because he's been in other situations where things were a lot more difficult.
Absolutely. The minor leagues, I mean, forget it. Especially when you're playing in the PCL, the Pacific Coast League, the travel can be really, really brutal. You're always taking the first flight out, so 6 a.m. flight. More often than not, you're going to have a layover, and sometimes that layover is 2 or 3 hours. You roll into a hotel 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon after getting up at 4 a.m., and then you have a game at 7. Those are some pretty tough days.
2-1, the count on Napoli.
I'll also say when you're 23 years old, it's a little bit easier to handle, maybe in the case of Adrian Beltre, than when you're 38 years old. And hopefully Joey will have that opportunity to see what it feels like at 38 years old. And we'll ask him again.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is really hard.
Yeah, it can be a little bit different as the years pile on. 2 out here in the 7th inning. G's 3-1 pitch to Napoli, and he swings and misses. It's a full count. Dylan G trying to complete 3 innings in relief here. 3 strikeouts so far, a walk, a hit batter. Has not allowed a hit. He's done a nice job. And his payoff to Napoli. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So he strikes out 4 in his 3 innings of work. The former Ranger doing a nice job in long relief tonight for Minnesota. But the Rangers lead it 4-1. Brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keep calm to learn more. Oh, that's a beautiful scene. There's a really pretty skyline here in Minneapolis as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Rangers leading by 3. Of course, it looks better when you're leading by 3. And Keone Kela on a relief here. Kela against Miguel Sano, and Sano swings at the first pitch. Hits this one high in the air out to left field. DeShields back there to the wall, and he makes the catch. Yeah. No big deal.
It's 1 pitch, 1 out, and whenever you see Miguel Sano get a hold of a baseball and hit it this high, there's a good chance that baseball is going to get out of the ballpark. There's the breaking ball from Kela. He's got a very good one, but that one stayed up in the zone a little bit, and you even see the reaction there from Sano. I think he thought he got it. Nice job up there. Look how Delano caught that and then kind of threw both of his hands out as well. So a little bit of an exhale there from Kela. There's the arsenal, by the way, 97-mile-an-hour fastball on average, and there's that breaking pitch. That one sits around 83. The other thing with Sano, I mean, he hits the ball as hard as anybody in the big leagues. 2nd highest average exit velocity off the bat of Miguel Sano all year. He's got a 400 and nearly 70-foot home run under his belt this season. He's got some pop.
Well, Joe Mauer 0 for 2 so far tonight. Kela's 1-1. Foul tipped.
And what would have made that even all the more interesting, and it's been a short career here for Keone Kela, just a couple of years, but he's thrown 836 curveballs coming into tonight. 1 home run allowed on that pitch. It's a good one.
Well, with that swing a moment ago, you certainly, put it this way, would have been surprised had it gone the extra couple of feet.
Now, the 836 curveballs that he's thrown, they usually don't look like that. Right? That one stayed up in the zone, didn't quite have the big break that we usually see.
Off the plate. 2-2 the count on Mauer. Well, Twins with just 2 hits so far tonight. Eddie Rosario had a single in the 5th inning. Myron Buxton had a double in the 3rd. Those are the only 2 hits. The only other base runner on top of those 2 was a Robbie Grossman walk in the 3rd. And a fastball that is called strike 3. So Mauer down looking. 2 away.
One of the things I really like about Keone Kela is the tilt in which he pitches with. You're usually going to see the fastball elevate and the breaking ball down, but look at the tilt on this. Look at the downward action on the fastball. Really nice job by Robinson Chirinos as he catches this ball from the bottom and brings it up a little bit. Great presentation to the home plate umpire. And Joe Mauer believes that that ball was just below the zone, but between the downward tilt from Kela and then the really nice job receiving by Robinson Chirinos, you can see why that pitch was called a strike.
So now Eduardo Escobar, 2 times tonight, he's flied out to center field. Fouls this one back our direction, and it is 1-1. Those 2 chaps.
Trying to do their best Bass brother intimidation.
A couple of dudes down below us. Nice job. Got a foul ball. Almost injured one another in their celebration.
They went forearms. McGuire Canseco. Not nearly as clean, though.
2 balls and a strike on Escobar.
And the camera's out, and the picture is being taken. It's a different world we live in, Dave Raymond. It's all about the Instagram picture.
They're working on it. 2-1. Good swing by Escobar. Evens the count. Get some pictures all over the stadium, folks. Trying to remember the moments. Escobar right now trying to find his way on base and bounces that one into the dugout. Interesting Twins team. Yeah, they're hard to figure. 51 wins, 54 losses. Low expectations coming in. Sort of overachieved for the better part of the first half of the season. Paul Molitor this afternoon pointing out they haven't won more than 4 in a row all year. And then pointing out, but we haven't lost 4 in a row this year either. They're just kind of back and forth. Couple of wins here, couple of losses there. They hover around 500 all year. Now they've dipped a little below. That last road trip, a tough one for them out to California. They went out there 2.5 back in the division. And they started play tonight, just back from that road trip. 6 games out in the division, and feeling that might have been the coup de grace. This could sort of be the end of the high hopes.
Bless you.
But they are still in the wild card race. Thank you. 2-2. Did it go? They want an appeal. No.
So interesting too. You mentioned that they really hadn't been very streaky, and on June 13th they were 6 games over 500. Well, since then, they have struggled. They've been 8 games under 500. You go back and say, well, what's been going on during that time in the home run differential? They've only hit 37 home runs since June 14th, but they have given up 64. So that puts you at a negative 27 when you start looking at the home runs hit, home runs allowed. That's the worst in Major League Baseball. That's coincided with them going 8 games under 500 over that time.
This one into Escobar, and he walks. Just the 4th base runner tonight for the Twins. So they've got a man on now. And here comes Eddie Rosario, who has half of their hits. He had a single in the 5th inning. 1 for 2. And Doug Brocail making the slow walk out. Talk things over here with Kela.
surprising here. Just one walk to Escobar. Now you got to sit here and deal with Rosario. So it may be a little bit about strategy, because if you look over here, you're going to see a lot of Chirinos and a lot of Keller talking, and there's Doug Brocail chipping in, and now Tony Barnett, the righty, has gotten up in the Ranger bullpen.
So the conversation done. Opening game in a 4-game series here. Rangers hoping to get something started in Minnesota on this road trip. 4 games here and then 2 in New York. One of the few road trips they take this year that does not drag them through 3 cities.
The Mariners are thinking, so what? You have a 4-city trip at the end of the month.
So first pitch on the way, and a backdoor breaking ball, strike 1 to Rosario.
That was a really good one from Keller. 77 miles an hour. We've seen that breaking ball as hard as 83 today. Look at that bite at the end of it and the downward action. That is the good version of Keller's breaking ball.
Upstairs, 1-1 the count.
I remember back in the day, we'd always talk about Greg Maddux and his ability to go plus and minus, right? He was never a hard throw. It was always about plus and minus. And so the pitches wouldn't sit in a short range, even though it was the same pitch. It'd be a wide range on those pitches. Well, there's an example of it on the breaking ball from Keller. We've seen as hard as 83 and as slow as 77 on the same exact pitch.
Curveball in the dirt. Escobar not going anywhere. Keller on in relief of A.J. Griffin. Griffin with 6 really good innings tonight. And his first start back off the disabled list. 2-1 pitch, and this one fouled away. That one will end up in the seats, and it's 2-2. His fans have been into it today. They've done a nice job. Of course, it might be clapping there, just trying to stay warm, keep the blood moving. Temperatures in the 50s at game time. And the breaking ball, that one lined to third and caught by Adrian Beltre. Well positioned, and a nice smile on the face as he hauls that one in to end the inning.
Well, nice play is exactly right here by Adrian Beltre, but kind of a funny one based on the swing and then the old timer showing the vertical. Probably did not need to jump, wanted to make it look like it higher than it actually was.
All right, time for the Ford game summary. Joey Gallo with another majestic home run. 29th of the year for him. Went 430 feet. That was in the 4th inning, a 3-run shot. That's the difference in the game. A.J. Griffin retired the final 12 of 13 he faced in 6 really good innings today. 6 innings, 1 run on 2 hits, struck out 4.
Did a great job. Pitch count 81. They decided cool night here, just coming off the DL. The Rangers and Jeff Bannister making that decision not to push it too much here with A.J. Griffin. But yes, he was really sharp. Fastball was good. Breaking ball was good. Overall, great night in his return.
Dylan G, meanwhile, who came on in relief of twin starter Alberto Mejia, has done a fantastic job. Mejia went 4 innings. Looks like G's going to try and match him. And this one hit well by Odor out toward right field. Kepler back, looks up, and that one off the facing of the planter. And so Odor is on with a leadoff single in the 8th inning.
Just missed it. Needed a little bit more lift to get this baseball out of the ballpark. Let's take a peek here. Not a bad pitch, located down and away. Looked like a changeup, but look at that. Oh! And unfortunately, because it bounces off so firm, it just turns into a very long single for Rougned Odor.
So Rugi 1 for 4 tonight, and that brings up Carlos Gomez. 4 runs, now 8 hits for the Rangers tonight. And geez, first pitch just a little bit off the plate.
356-foot single for Odor.
Takes a small lead. 1-0. That one lined out towards center field, drops in, base hit in front of Buxton. Back-to-back singles in this 8th inning. All right, time for us to take a Chevy game break. Let's send it back once again to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Paul Molitor out to take the baseball away. Dylan G didn't have it here in his 4th inning of work. 3 very good innings, but 2 singles surrendered. And the Twins go deeper into their bullpen. Lead as we play on here in the 8th inning. Hey, don't miss the Star Wars post-game fireworks show on Friday, September 1st. Come on out to the ballpark. Angels in town to take on the Rangers. And then afterwards, stick around and enjoy a post-game fireworks show set to the music of Star Wars. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Buddy Bouchier's on in relief for the Twins.
That'll be 22nd game for him this season. He is in here right now to battle Joey Gallo. The left-hander has allowed just a 200 batting average against left-handed hitters this year, nearly 300 when it comes to those righties. And he inherits a couple of runners. He's inherited 10 this season, has allowed 5. Fastball sits around 91 miles an hour. Curveball 78, and he does have a changeup, but he doesn't use that changeup to lefties hardly at all, less than 1% of the time. So here's the breaking ball at 79, and it's the fastball as well he's going to try to use against Joey Gallo.
There's 1-0 pitch. Gallo takes the strike. It's 1-1. So Mejia, Dylan G, who went 3+ innings. And now Bouchier's top of the 8th. Curveball, and that one is in there.
It's a good one there. Had some good depth. The first one that we saw had some sweeping action to it. This one a little bit more up to down with some good vertical break.
I see the inherited runners statistic. Half of those he has inherited have scored. And this one fouled away. Stays 1-2. Or you could look at it, half of those inherited runners have not scored.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of guy you are.
Well, I'm a half full, so I kind of think that there's a 50% chance the Rangers are going to get a run.
Only Rougned Odor is going to score, at least with him on the mound now. And he could walk Joey Gallo when it counts as 2 inherited runners not scoring. It could be a little bit of a misleading stat at times. You love seeing the low number, but there's some relievers that will have some seasons where they have some bad luck, whether it be the situations in which they are put in, or if there's plays that aren't made behind you, you still get penalized for those runners every time they score, whether it's your fault or not.
Big curveball, and he strikes out Gallo, 1 away. So how's that pitch working anyway?
That was a good one. Really good depth to it. And a lot of times we had this conversation. We were talking about whether or not, you know, some of the righties that are really good at getting left-handed hitters out, but that's why you love the lefty-on-lefty matchup when you can get that kind of breaking ball.
So Bouchier's does his job. He is done. Paul Molitor back into that bullpen. We'll bring on the new pitcher in just a moment.
Score 4-1. 9 hits for the Rangers tonight as well. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved this fall and visit foxsupports.com.
All right, Ryan Presley coming on for the 34th time.
See that high ERA, 6.68. The whip almost doesn't match the ERA, and neither do the strikeouts to walk. Both of those look pretty respectable, but it does appear that some runs have come across the board this year against Ryan Presley, who was in there to face Robinson Chirinos. 96-mile-an-hour fastball to go along with a 90-mile-an-hour slider and an 84-mile-an-hour curveball.
Comes way in on Chirinos for ball one. Robbie was hit by a pitch last time up. He's also singled tonight. Timeout asked for and granted. One out here. Odor's at second, Gomez at first. Those two reached on singles against Dylan G. Buddy Boshiers came on and got a strikeout, the one batter he faced. And it is 2-0 now on Chirinos.
And it's a really nice pick by Jason Castro. His reaction afterwards was priceless here. It was almost to say, oh, yeah. Knees never went down. He didn't try to square it up and block it. He made a tremendous pick, but he threw that breaking ball down like that 10 times. I'm not sure he's picking that more than 2 or 3. That was a pretty nice play.
2-0. Chirinos hits this one high in the air out to right field. Carrying well, but caught at the warning track. Tagging up is Odor. He'll head to third. So the deep fly ball by Chirinos does advance Odor, but there are 2 away.
So one of the things, Dave, I know you never think about stuff like this, and you know I think about a lot of weird stuff, but look at the bullpen here in Minnesota, right over here.
Yeah.
That's where the bullpen door is.
Okay.
All right. Look how far it is from the mound. I mean, that is about as far as you could. I don't know if there's a door you could put on the outfield wall that is any further from the pitching mound.
No, I think that is it.
And this is why I need to design the stadium. We start with the booth, first base. Where's the bullpen door? That in that order. Colorado, I mean, it's a nightmare to pitch here anyway.
Right.
It is so far away. That's a huge outfit, biggest one in baseball. And as much as you and I, we talked about the bullpens down the line, there's only a couple of stadiums that still have those, and I don't really like the way they look, and they're not ideal, but they are really convenient.
Well,
think about Oakland just jogging in, San Francisco.
Sure.
That part of it's nice. You got work to do, man. I can't be sprinting 200 yards to get in to throw some pitches.
You're a professional athlete. Come on. Bouncer first base. Grabbed by Maurer. He'll go back to the bag, and it ends the inning. Everything could be solved if they just bring back the old golf cart.
There you go. The bullpen car. That was the next point of this. Look at that thing. Who's got to run out for their next? Or people mover. Get a people mover all the way from there to the mound.
Go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers up by 3. Rangers with a 3-run lead. Nomar Mazara has now moved to left field. And Shin-Soo Choo in right after pinch hitting there. So Choo in the game. And new corner outfield alignment as Matt Bush comes on to pitch in the 8th inning.
And there is the pitch arsenal for Matt Bush. 69% of the time you'll see the fastball that averages 98. Slider, curveball as well for Matt Bush. Got a day off. He threw 2/3 of an inning in the middle game against the Seattle Mariners back on August 1st. Threw 9 pitches in the time. Just faced a couple hitters, came out.
Well, he's got the bottom of the order here. Robbie Grossman is 0 for 1 with a walk. Big swing and a miss, makes it 1-1. Then it'll be Jason Castro and Myron Buxton. Chirinos wanted that one up a little higher. He missed down low, 2-1 the count.
It's been the story we've talked about with Matt Bush at times wanting to elevate the fastball. Be a little bit of an issue for him at times, but something he also likes to save for later in the count. Feels more comfortable doing that in 2-strike counts.
Oh, that one's a beauty, 2-2. Bush, the 3rd pitcher of the night for the Rangers. Well, a good job with that scoreless 7th inning, and there's strike 3 called. So Grossman down looking to start the bottom of the 8th inning.
No argument there at all from Robbie Grossman. That is 98 miles an hour from Matt Bush, and it caught plenty of plate. You'll see it here. Robinson Chirinos doesn't have any work to do as far as framing this thing up. Solid for Matt Bush.
So 1 away in the 8th inning. Now he goes to work on Jason Castro, left-handed hitter, and fires that same fastball right in there for a strike. Chirinos definitely wants this one in the dirt, but it's left up just a bit. Castro singles it into center field.
You're absolutely right. Look at the glove almost touching the ground from Robinson Chirinos, and he's trying to get Matt Bush to bury the breaking ball in the 0-1 count, try to get the swing over the top, going for the swing and miss, but one stayed up a little bit. Give some credit there to Jason Castro. That's a nice job. Still a good pitch from Matt Bush. Just wasn't down in the dirt the way that Chirinos wanted it.
So Myron Buxton, slider for a strike.
You see that one there? It was a little bit smaller and tighter for Matt Bush. I'd mentioned this, and he had started talking about the breaking ball, just getting a little bit more. See that one tighter right there, a little bit cutter look to it. But he said that he's trying to make that look more like a slider, a little bit of a bigger break.
Fly ball down the right field line, slicing toward the corner, and that one is foul. Long strike on Buxton.
One thing I don't love about this ballpark, and they did the same thing in Atlanta, we're going to go there in September, is that you get the padded wall and then the cement wall. Right, now this ball was way foul, but you're going to get some balls that are going to be close. And for the outfielder, they have that decision to make. Do I go for this? You know, it's a kind of borderline, because if you get caught in between and you guess wrong and that ball hits that cement wall, it's probably going to be a triple. Was the way that the ball bounces off, and that's why it becomes, in this kind of ballpark, extremely important for your center fielder to bust it over to right field every time a ball is hit deep, because you could get that big bounce, especially you get that one that's kind of close.
Big swing and a miss, and Buxton down on strikes, 2 away.
Those are conversations that the coaching staff will have with the players, especially for the Rangers, they only come into this ballpark once a year. You see the replay here from Matt Bush as he records his second strikeout. There's the elevated fastball at 99 miles an hour. Chance for Buxton to get to that one. When you first get here, you know, defensive coach, outfield coach will take you out there and talk about, hey, remember this about this ballpark, bounces off the walls. Make sure you're backing up your right fielder because of the cement wall out there in right field. Certainly something every team does every time they go to Fenway because of the uniqueness of the Green Monster. It's something our sport offers that really no others do. The walls are different, the boundaries are different in every single park.
1-0 to Dozier. No, that's a great thing. I agree. It's one of the really cool things about baseball, and for me, golf.
Yep.
Because in those two sports, every other sport basically is some variation of a rectangle, and you put the goals one end or the other. Let's go at it. But everybody stay in the box. Whereas baseball and golf, it's a different shaped venue everywhere you go. And there's a swing and a miss. Strike 2 on Dozier.
I always found it amazing. You hear some basketball players, there are certain gyms that they're more comfortable shooting in. You know, and I get it. I know sports. I played sports professionally, whatever. I'm like, well, aren't they all the same? Like, they're literally the same size. There is no weather. But yeah, you hear guys talk about it all the time. There are certain.
Well, visually, certainly there's some
arenas,
differences.
yeah.
Right?
They're just more comfortable shooting it.
This one in on the hands, and Dozier pops it up third base side. Beltre dealing with the rain, and he makes the catch. Jeez, that didn't look very fun, but he got it done, and it completes a scoreless bottom of the 8th inning. Well, we go to the 9th with the Rangers up by 3. A little bit of rain starting to fall here as we go to the 9th inning, and we look forward to tomorrow, our AT&T pitching matchup. Martin Perez at 5-9 with the ball for the Rangers. And how about it, Bartolo Colon? He'll have the ball for the Twins. Nobody, no pitcher, has won more games against the Rangers than Bartolo Colon. 20 wins for Big Bart. So a familiar foe for the Rangers as Presley continues to work in this 9th inning.
Bartolo Colon, some talk about him maybe shutting it down here, calling it a career.
Come on.
It hasn't happened yet. Yeah, last couple of starts we had heard it. Some rumblings about one being his last one, but turned out not to be the case.
He's pitching forever.
He's like 3 months younger than me. That's it. Is that unbelievable?
Presley going right after Elvis Andrus. Strike 1 to get us going. Andrus, Mazzara, Beltre in the 9th. Andrews started after that. Couldn't stop in the count 0-2. Elvis, couple of hits and a walk tonight. He's had a good night at the plate. Rangers with 4 runs on 9 hits. Off the end of the bat, rolled to the right side. Dozier gathers it up and throws out Andrews. 1 away here in the 9th inning. Well, MLB.com At Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Rangers baseball. You can follow the Rangers with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and a whole lot more. Just don't download MLB.com At Bat today. One gone, and here is Nomar Mazara. Nomar bounces one to second base. Dozier again, this time with a backhand. 2 up, 2 down in the 9th. Bottom of the 9th inning, we'll see the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming for Minnesota. Kepler, Sano, and Mauer. Rangers on top 4-1. And another at bat tonight for Adrian Beltre. Presley came on, got the final 2 outs last inning, so he's faced 4 hitters. Retired all 4. Alex Claudio getting ready out there to pitch the 9th inning.
You mentioned those guys that were coming up. Left, right, left. Kepler, Sano, Joe Mauer, then the switch hitter Escobar, and another lefty. If you think those guys should get to the plate. So Jeff Bannister was the idea of bringing in Alex Claudio in this spot. Maybe the most trusted reliever in that bullpen. Despite the fact that he is the softest thrower. It's been fun to watch what Alex has done, and it looks like we'll get to watch him do his work there in the 9th.
Beltre smacks one in the air out toward right field, but Kepler ranging over, tracks it down, and it completes a quiet top of the 9th inning. So Alex Claudio, the man who has engendered all of that trust, coming on in the 9th to try and save this 3-run lead. bad Bart. We'll leave some of that for you guys. Alex Claudio ready to go here in the ninth.
Well, it's heavy sinker, heavy changeup for Alex. We were just talking about the velocity, but good movement, especially from the arm angle that he has. Throws from the side. All those fastballs, two-seam fastballs, so that's what we call them, those sinkers. And he'll throw the slider as well, mostly to lefties. Every once in a while, he'll try to bury it down and into a righty, but righty's usually seeing a steady fastball changeup combination, and he's going to get a righty right here now as we get a pinch hitter.
Yep, so the Twins with plenty left on that bench. So Paul Molitor wasting no time. Goes with Adrianza. And he's swinging to the first pitch. A chopper to shortstop. And Elvis Andrus right there. So very quickly turned back. One pitch, one out.
Well, that's what it is about Alex Claudio. This number continues to go down. He is now at 12.3 pitches per inning as a reliever. That is the lowest by far among big league relievers. Next closest man was the other day was 13.6, I believe. That was Erasmo Ramirez, who ended up starting. Now is in the rotation with the Seattle Mariners.
So we got an out on a pitch there, and now one of the more aggressive hitters in the game. Sano takes ball one. Sano so far tonight 0 for 3. Gets ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
You got a 3-run lead, so you're going to go right at Miguel Sano. But I do love the idea of Alex throwing that changeup in this count. Trying to get Miguel Sano out front. He goes fastball. That one in there for a strike. But the changeup has been such a deadly pitch for Alex, even against right-handed hitters. Just have such a difficult time staying back on it.
Waggles to his set, and the 2-1. A little bit in. So 3 balls and a strike on Sano. I mentioned that Sano's usually a quick verdict. I mean, he's up there swinging most of the time, but he has struck out more than anybody in the game, 145 times. So there are times when you have to go deep into the count to get him. Takes a strike here, and it's a full count.
So it has been all fastballs. Pretty fascinating to see this from Alex Claudio. You got one of the best power hitters in the game. Sano hits the ball as hard as anybody. You see the shake, shake, shake. Let's see if Robinson Trinos is trying to play some head games there with Miguel Sano.
Stays 3-2.
A lot of times when you see the catcher give that fake shake, it's because he is thinking, wants the hitter to think along and to see the pitcher's head shaking. It's okay, well, he actually is going to stay away from the most obvious pitch and go to something else. Here comes the changeup.
Man, a swing and a miss. Got him 2 away.
So fun to watch that. What a great job by Alex Claudio. Falls behind 2-0 in the count to Miguel Sano. All fastballs until this last one, and there's that changeup, and it just disappears. Sano's thinking, man, what just happened? 71 miles an hour from a sidearm lefty. He's got to go back to the bench.
Well, that was a thing of beauty right there, 2 away. And the last hopes now on the shoulders of Joe Mauer. And he takes ball 1.
So Claudio now has got to get Joe Mauer out. Then these 3 pitches to keep that pitches per innings pitch number going down. I mean, at some point, it can only go so low. So he's going to have to throw 15 pitches in an inning.
What?
Like everybody else has to. 15 pitches per inning is still really, really good.
He's been something to watch this summer. Amazing job he has done. Unflappable. So consistent, man. So reliably good. 1-1. Fouled away.
All right, here's 11. Here's the money pitch. Be interesting to see if he tries to go with the slider. Joe Mauer's got pretty good zone recognition. Has always been a really good high on base guy. And so sometimes when you face those guys, the traditional way of going left-hand lefty, sweeping the slider out of the zone, doesn't necessarily always work, but Robinson Chirinos is going to give it a shot.
And here comes the 1-2.
Oh.
Didn't miss by much. Now the 2-2. Little tapper, first base side. Claudio is there. We'll put the tag on Mauer, and that indeed does it tonight. A 1-2-3 for Alex Claudio. Boy, did he have to work for it in the ninth.
13 pitches. Hopefully, Alex Claudio will be able to recover from that, a little bit above his average, but just so solid, filling up the strike zone, doing what he does best, and such a huge part of this bullpen here in Texas. Jeff Bannister extremely grateful that he's got the left arm of Alex Claudio the way that he has had the entire season.
Gets his 5th save of the year. A.J. Griffin in his comeback from the DL picks up win number 5. For Dana Larson, Tom Grieve, and Mike Bassett going to be back to talk about A.J.'s great return from the disabled list tonight, and of course give you everything else you've come to expect in the postgame show. For C.J. Nitkowski, Leslie McCaslin, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Rangers Live postgame show starts right after this.